this week's Parsha, we learn about perhaps the greatest moment in Jewish history, the giving of the Torah at Mount Sinai, when God revealed the Torah, the divine revelation to the Jewish people at Mount Sinai. And it wasn't just an individual that received this divine message, but rather it was a national experience where the entire Jewish people collectively received the Torah at Mount Sinai. And famously, the Ten Commandments were told to the Jewish people, as we learn in this week's Parsha, Yisro. I wanted to share a thought on the first commandment of the Ten Commandments. Famously, I am the Lord your God who took you out of the land of Egypt. Anochi Hashem Elokecha asher hotzeisecha me'eretz Mitzrayim, which seems to be somewhat of a bizarre tagline for God. I am the Lord your God who, fill in the blank. We can think of many more exciting things than going out of the land of Egypt, because after all, the exodus of Egypt was a one-time event which took place 3,300 years ago, and many of us cannot relate to that personally. It would be much more appropriate, some commentators suggest, for it to say, I am the Lord your God who created heaven and earth. We can kind of relate to that. We go outside, we breathe the fresh air every morning, we see the sky, we see the oceans, we see the rivers, the forests, we see this beautiful world that we find ourselves in. But the exodus of Egypt seems to be in ancient history. So why is God emphasizing this? I am the Lord your God who took you out of Egypt. One of the fundamental Jewish ideas is that we not only believe in God, but we believe that God desires a personal relationship with each and every one of us. And that's what God is suggesting in the first commandment. I am the Lord your God, asher hotzeisecha, who took you out in the singular tense from the land of Egypt. But some of the commentaries suggest not only the geographical Egypt, but rather the word Mitzrayim. Egypt comes from the word Meitzar, which means confinement. We find ourselves in various states of confinement throughout our lives. Some of us find ourselves in physical confinement. Some of us find ourselves in emotional confinement. Some of us find ourselves in financial confinement. But everyone, virtually without exception, has some sort of confinement in their lives. And God responds to us by saying, I am the Lord your God who will take you out of your state of confinement. I am the Lord your God who wants a personal relationship with you. That is why it is the first commandment of the Ten Commandments, because it is a fundamental Jewish idea, this concept of God desiring and yearning to have a personal relationship with each and every one of you. Folks, sometimes in our lives we get challenges to our faith. We sometimes wonder about God's existence and about God's hand in our lives. Let us remember this very important lesson from the first commandment, and remember that God desires a relationship with you. Have a wonderful Shabbos.